Hello, this is Kev. This is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Coming to you once again. Um, just had a thought on my mind. This one actually won't take long. So let me just let me see which one is it. Which one is it? Let me set the mood. Yep. Uh, just before anything, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And I don't know, just something that I've always thought about. Put out of a Facebook group because of this question right here. I always ask this question: why is it the framing of the conversation? And let me display it for you so you know what the f I'm talking about here. And how's my audience today? Why is the framing of the conversation always black men are arguing constantly with black women, and it's never black women arguing with black men? Now, I did not have this thought on my mind just to insinuate or keep a gender war continuing. I'm really trying to help us slow this gender war down because neither side is budging. And why is it called a gender war anyway? Because there are both genders on both sides. It's not just men against women. It's some men against some women, and some men that are for some women, and vice versa, and all the way around. What my thing is this. My thing is this. How you doing, Red Pill Addict? My thing is this. Why can't it just be a discussion? Why is it that we have this large ass movement of people coming forward saying that all these black men are doing is trashing, bashing, arguing, just really like just have this on this hate quest against black women. Um, and I'm gonna tell you why. Number one, it ain't none of that. It's what they're doing. What I like to call the white girl. It's like every time you see a white woman, whether she be a newscaster or a correspondent or just hanging out on the street, if you take exception to anything that she is saying and you are a man, one of the first things that'll jump out her mouth is you hate women. That's one of the first things that'll jump out her mouth. And what I see in these conversations, like when we had these back and forth, these debates, in which the debates are healthy. The debates are healthy. The debates get a lot. You get a lot out of the debates, and you probably end up learning more than you actually don't learn. Like, despite the fact that people actually say that Black YouTube is sort of embarrassing, but I don't believe that to be so. I believe that it is a valuable resource for information for those who are knowledgeable. Stoic One, peace. What's up, my brother? Um, I just don't believe that this conversation should always be put in a childish state of mind. It's like if you're dealing with a bunch of adults in a conversation, um, like why is it that when I take exception to something that someone is saying, then I'm all of a sudden arguing with that person? I'm sorry if I don't agree with you. I mean, if you want it to be an argument, then so be it. I mean, but it's not going to be that the man always start the shit, but the woman is always finishing it, or the woman is always somehow a victim. Like I said, this ain't no real gender war for real. When you think in gender war, you're thinking man versus woman. A lot of this stuff ain't man versus woman. It's just one point of view versus another point of view. It's which side is going to win the war and who can blame them. Like who can blame? Excuse me. Who can blame who more for what's going on with the children? Like honestly, I don't even think the children argue as much as our grown ass adults do. But you're going to be fair about what you're saying because it's like it's broadcast after broadcast, and no one's knocking you guys for well, kind of, but it's like this. It's like you guys have to start being a little fair in this conversation, or these little conflicts are just gonna start. They're just gonna keep going. They're gonna go in circles. They're not gonna go anywhere, and it is just gonna end up that way because it's like this. As a black man, if I keep hearing this whole hateful ass shit about black men are defeated. Black men ain't this. Black men hasn't done anything for black people since we got to America, which is stupid. which is stupid, then you're gonna have black men like me taking exception to it. And you can say I'm arguing with you and bashing you all you want. Period. See what Red Pill Addict has to say. When black women accuse men of arguing with them, it's a form of emasculating the man. It's really a desperate shaming tactic. Yep, a desperate shaming tactic among shaming tactics. Yeah, there's plenty of shaming tactics to try to get black men to shut up, and that's one of them. Like, y'all just arguing with me. Like, I see the mentality come from a lot of young people too, and it's like when I say young people, I mean like between the ages of 25 and 30, the ones that almost have no hope left. Those guys. I'm not talking about the impressionable ones, like between I would say 10 and 19. I mean, but yeah, it is her rhetoric, kind of. But let's not focus so much on her rhetoric and her alone, because this is a widespread mentality. Yeah, I just come on this broadcast just to tell everybody y'all need to start trying to be a little fair. Let me turn this music off. Black people do this, white people do that. No, no. All I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. If you are an adult and you are in these conversations, the thing you need to do is to deliver your talking points clear, concisely, and not to make it sound like a bunch of gibberish and excuses. That's pretty much all I'm going to say, like as far as this goes, because I keep hearing it. I keep hearing it. I mean, this is how a lot of people are getting their viewership, which nobody's criticizing the viewership. You gotta get your views. I understand that. You gotta cater yourself to an audience. But guess what? When you are in a social media forum, it's it, it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than what you just think or what I just think. Let's just start balancing these conversations out. And I can almost guarantee you that this little so-called gender war, which is really it's another kind of war. It's not really a gender war. It's the oh, let me try to put it in a way that is clever. It's kind of a common sense versus pro-black. I would say that. Like common sense, like pro black, really, like don't think that I'm just because I'm about to criticize pro black that means that I'm anti black for some. No, I'm not, because I love being black, but it's just that you 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 can't use being black as a way to avoid common sense. You can't do it. So that's what I'm saying, and I mean, like, especially if you have kids, I would much rather you be pro common sense anyway. Some people that look like you will stab you faster than people that don't look like you. So basically, I'm not saying trust another group more than you trust your own people. I'm just saying watch everyone. Watch everybody. Let me see. God word save saying I should put a link in the chat. I didn't really intend to be up here this long, but hey, you know what? If somebody else wants to step up here, and you got the next few minutes to jump on the panel, or I'm gonna go ahead and get on with my day. I mean, let's see. All right, hold on, sit tight for 1 second. Ooh. And there's a link right there. If you would like to come up, especially if you are a YouTuber and you would like to, and you like to share your thoughts on this show at this particular time on the subject. The subject is asking a question: do black women ever argue with black men? And for some reason, I just don't think that, if you listen to a lot of the conversations around here, it just seems like it's always black men are jumping on black women, or it's just black men are bullying black women men are picking on women black women have to do all of this. They have to face the world. They have to fight black men and white supremacy. It's just it's never a fair conversation. So I'm just gonna talk for a few more minutes, and if I don't see anybody appear at the bottom of that screen, I'm just gonna go ahead and go. But yeah, let me answer Red Pill Addict. Uh, Red Pill Addict says it's not a gender war, but it's struggle for power. Black women want to rule over black men. Being submissive is not an option for most black women. What I recommend is to get their a clear definition of submission straight. Um, I would tell you, just like I stated this morning in the other broadcast, I wouldn't say like a lot of people think that submission means slavery. That means that it means that submitting to black men, submitting to black men somehow means that you got to crawl and grovel, stay on all fours, make me a sandwich, open your mouth whenever I want to, so I can put something in it. That's not what submission means. That's not what submission means. Let me see. Yeah, and yeah, I do see a lot of people complaining about submission. So I mean, that's going to be a revolving target. And look at this comment: in world hunger and cure HIV, and raise the community alone. Oh, that's how we do it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying on that one. Yeah, it's like all I'm here to say is this: is that these these discussions must be had. I don't feel like these discussions should end, but I think that we need to start making more sense in the conversation. Um, I think most of the arguments are initiated by women invading these spaces and attempting to dictate the flow of conversation. I said this to somebody the other day. I said this to somebody the other day. And when I say black women, okay, if I mean all black women, I will say all black women. I will say 110% of all black women. But when I say black women, I shouldn't have to say some or not all. Because really, honestly, it doesn't do any good. Because I'll give you an example. Patrick Patterson, remember the whole Patrick Patterson called black women bulldog incident? Here's what happened. When somebody trolls you about your woman and you don't defend yourself, people are going to look at you like you don't have a set. But I don't think that was his main concern. I think that he was just defending his lady. And yeah, he got dick policed hard. Now check that video out. I'll just put the I'll just put the link in the chat for shits and giggles. But let me respond to what Stoic is saying here. I think most of the arguments are initiated by women invading these spaces and attempting to dictate the flow of conversation. Yeah, and here I am about to bring up the Facebook group Black Men Being Brutally Honest with Everyone again. I said a lot about that in the previous broadcast. And this is why I feel like you got these guys SBMing right now. I think that's why you got it, because that's what they do. It's like the second I started letting a large amount of black women into that space when I first started that group, here they come with the troll posts. And here they come with the self victimization. Oh, these black men are always bashing us. I was like, here? I mean, this group just started. And then you had a couple of toxic trolls. I mean, I eventually got rid of them, but it let me put it to you like this. If you own any kind of space, do not cave into whining of females, because no matter what you do, they will not appreciate it. They won't appreciate it. They'll forget it the next second. Say this Hispanic guy just dropping all these N-word bitches and all this other stuff. If he come in, then they're gonna tag me. Kev, there's a racist in there. Kick him out. I kick him out. Thank you. Thank you, Kev. Thank you very much. Next post. Black men ain't shit. It is literally that quick. Their memories are that short term. So, like, if you own a space or have a space out there, don't let these women dictate to you how that space goes. Don't do it. Ty Dan TV. What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping by. So I mean, like, just like I said, don't let anyone, especially these females, because it's like they victimize themselves. It's like I can literally read an entire conversation, and then it gets to a point where the guy just said, "Hey, enough," and then he said something really out of the way. They'll tag me just for that comment. I say, "Hey, you know what? I just read the entire conversation. You were and he kind of went there for a reason. What do you do? You guys in here are crazy. Oh my god, you know." And then it's like this, depending on a rule, if he broke a rule or not, kick him out. If he doesn't, I don't. Whatever. Do like yeah. So like, let me go back to yeah, yeah. And let me tell you something else these girls will do. They'll get mad if brothers start uplifting themselves. And I mean, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like there'll be posts where brothers are uplifting black women, and there'll be posts where brothers are uplifting themselves. On those posts, these women start knocking them down. Oh, why do they all of a sudden? Why do they want to lift them? Say, oh, it's a circle jerk. This post is gay over here. Literally, I told one girl, you don't care about black men enough to make all these, all these comments and all these, and all and all these, giving them all these charges about what we don't do as black men. And I tell you what, you know who's the worst with that? Swirlers. Like, no lie, I ran across a girl who had a white and a black baby daddy. And she was just getting at it with black men this, black men that. And I'm sitting up there like, but you are a twice made single mother. Why are you so critical? Why are you not worried about what you need to do in your own life? Why are you over here in these spaces shitting all over black men? Because I want to drink male tears. That was enough for me. King Vicious Productions. My comments are being blocked from the chat. No, no, man. No, 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 no. I'm not doing that. I don't think a mod is doing that. I think YouTube is having a hiccup. I mean, I've gone in chats and I can make comments sometimes, but some of my comments don't go through. So I think really that's on YouTube. I don't want to be blocked comments. So King Vicious Productions, no, that's not what we're doing over here. And plus, Stoic One says he sees you, so your comments are actually going through. I mean, let me see if you have another. I mean, I'm assuming that you made another comment. I mean, that comment went through, but no, nobody on this side should be blocking anybody's comments. I mean, yeah, that is weird, but like I said, it happened to me on. Let me see what channel that was. RBR Network. I was in RBR Network's chat, and then some of my comments would actually publish, and some of my comments would go away. And before I started to thinking that was RBR that was doing it, I had to understand that that this technology is flaky. And plus, I think YouTube did release a statement saying that they'll work on fix. Well, wait a minute, it wasn't even YouTube. I think it was StreamYard that said that they'll work on getting the comment situation fixed. Okay, so yeah, try again, bro. Like, whatever comment you make, if I see it, I'm gonna put it up on the screen. But no, I'm not gonna treat people that way. I mean, I don't have a really big YouTube channel. I got a big enough YouTube channel, when we got people watching. But I don't want to be I don't want to disrespect anyone like that. I mean, especially if they're not disrespecting me. So I do apologize. But here we go, Red Pill Addict. When black women play the "you're arguing with a woman" card, they lost the debate. They don't have anything intelligent, any substance to come back with. Yeah, that usually follows by. If you keep going, it's usually followed by insults. It goes into the other lower shaming tactics. It goes into the you ever heard this one? You ain't no man if you argue with a woman. I'm serious. It's like this whole like that's another shame and try to redefine manhood because you can't get through a conversation. Now, let's not just make it about just the women. What about the guys who defend them as well? There's like a lot of these guys be saying this too. I saw two other YouTubers. I'm not going to name who they are because they're quite prominent in the manosphere. The two men were talking about how these men just keep arguing with these women. It was one of those we're complaining about SYSBM. Yeah. Also, I had a person make a comment under my last video. Go check it out. He was saying that SYSBM is not really a movement that you sign up for. Is basically making sure that you do everything that you possibly can to take care of you on your end. And if there is family involved, then you take care of them as well. So it ain't really like when it says save yourself, it means save yourself and everything that you're involved with. If you want to leave behind these whack little pro blacks, I'm gonna put this up. I mean, shit. But like it's like the reason why I think a lot of people complain about pro black, like as far as it being a movement, is that it actually ostracizes black people for the dumbest of reasons. Not actually because they're doing actual real cooning, because cooning by their definition, you know what that is. King Vicious, I said your boy Raw, aka Karate Man, and simps like him, White Knight for these females. Sometimes, like with that particular person, I think his wife is looking either over his shoulder to make sure that he's commenting a certain way, or he is or he just or his wife is using his account. But see, here's what happens when you throw up a name. Is like when you throw up a name, you actually invoke that person's presence. And I would really like for him to be able to come on here one day and explain himself. But he's in the past have stated that he does not support the YouTube channel. He'll stay in the Facebook group all day, but he's saying that he can't. And I think he stated it just like this: he can't hit the sub button to get me one step closer to making money off this. And I've had several people tell me that. And I've had people tell me that when I was under 100 subscribers, like, oh, I just can't wait for this guy to fail. And when people say stuff like that, it keeps me going even more. It makes me want to stay on YouTube even more to prove those people wrong. To prove those people wrong. So, I mean, anybody that's willing to have enough intestinal fortitude to get on these platforms, despite the fact that they saying that you don't belong here, you deserve everyone's respect, and you definitely got mine. Period. But let me go ahead and like God's word says seven. I think that I'm pretty much solo for this one. I mean, like I said, if anyone wants to come up here on like and let's make this a panel, you got the next few minutes because I'm about to jump off if we don't. But I do appreciate everyone that's got eyes on this broadcast. And like I said, just I need like I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I need y'all help. Just get the word out there. Kev got this channel, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. Subscribe, help him grow his viewership, so we can start pushing a lot of the narratives that we want out there. Because we've got to start making this fair for the brothers sooner or later, and I prefer sooner. It's gonna be fair for black men whether people start liking it or not. And then, then when it gets to that point, if it gets to that point, then I can tell them what they can do. But we want to have a conversation first. We want to stop saying stuff like, let me get this off the King Vicious. Well, that's even worse, bro. Mama need to watch over his comments. I do say that as kind of a dig for those guys. I mean, I don't mean it. I don't mean it maybe like 3 or 4% of the time. Because I truly believe that I think a lot of y'all wives do be monitoring your Facebook because they know about male platforms that say the kinds of things that that we say, and a lot of people are taken aback by it because they what the real problem is they haven't heard commentary from black men like this enough. Usually, when you think of your your typical average black, house father, husband, calm black man. He's in pleated pants with a pressed shirt. He's sitting down at the recliner chair with his newspaper open, got his legs crossed, not giving a fuck about anything unless it comes on the news and there's just this high alert status. Like otherwise, he's just this calm man He pretty much let his wife do most of the yapping. And what happened, those narratives snuck in. Like brothers became empathetic and didn't think anything was wrong. Okay. Um, okay, well, since as long as I'm taking care of my family, we had a lot of brothers like that. We had a generation of brothers like that. As long as I'm taking care of my family and these little white people don't bother us like they did in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, I'm just fine. I'm just fine. But little did we know that these narratives will start creeping in, right under our noses. The great dragon known as feminism. Tell your wives that, hey, you know what? Let's think about all the stuff that we don't have to do for these men, as opposed to what to do for these men. Look at Red Pill Addict. You're staying on topic, man. Good job. I had a woman jump in on one of my comment threads under another video and accuse me of arguing with women. I'm like, you replied to a comment that I started, but I'm the one arguing. Okay. They do that all the time. And they're like, I've had posts that I made that women jumped on and said that, why am I always arguing with these females? Under a comment that I made in the very post, I said, number one, this is my post. Number two, you're under my comment, so you're kind of double whack. And I mean, it's just like this. It's just like this. They want agreement. They want total, unbridled, 100% compliance whenever they say anything, because a lot of these women grew up under the whole, if a woman says it, you just got to roll with it. And I think they call it in present day, believe all women. No, I don't believe all women. I don't believe all men. You're saying I should believe all women because they have a different sex part than me? No. Even if the result is an argument, I'm still not gonna sit there and believe all women. It's like I'm supposed to believe what you say just because you say it. The social contract was violated, according to Stoic One, and God's word save 7 says we need a new contract with consequences. I definitely agree. I kind of made that clear in my April Mason video that I did. Is that in order for things to start improvement, and if you want this quote unquote protection, there are certain things that you are going to have to do in order to get this, because it's like black men aren't going to budge off entitlements, at least not anymore. At least more of the free thinking, more sensible brothers. We can't afford to budge off entitlements anymore, because what have entitlements got? Who do entitlements benefit? They don't ever benefit the group as a whole. You got to find a way to do things that are beneficial for everyone and not just you. And to hell with all of your feelings. I mean, I know that's a harsh thing to say. Oh, what are you saying about our feelings? Oh my God. I mean, I've always said this. I always say this. I say this one thing, and why do I have to say this? I don't know. I care more about the welfare of children than the feelings of women. Guys, I mean, that should go without saying. That's automatically implied. Why would I care about a guy's feeling over a child's welfare? I care about a child's welfare just about more than anything. Because guess what? The children are our future. Oh, look at this. Somebody out there saying, I believe the children are our future. Yeah, children are our future. And if we don't raise them with some kind of common goddamn sense, when we're too old to hold our poop back out of our damn diapers, and I did say diapers, they're not going to be there for us. So there has to be some adulting going on. It has to be some adulting before it's too fucking late. And I mean, if that means that you got to take a little accountability, hey, I mean, shit, hey, look, but let's all share in accountability. I'm not saying that you got to have all the accountability and I get none of it. No black man in any of these conversations ever say anything like that. But that's the framing of the conversation that, oh, black men don't want accountability. Accountability for what? We can't take accountability for things that are already done. We can only take accountability for ourselves. Yeah, but God word say I'm about to get off. It's like nobody's, nobody's joining the conversation. But like I said, feel free to. If you're watching and you got something to say about this, join the conversation. If I am wrong, you think I'm wrong, I'm not going to say you just trying to argue with me. I'm just going to take your word for I'm not going to take your word for it. If it's right and if you are correct, yeah, I will concede. If I'm wrong, I concede. That's what's unique about people you say about the things that some of you say about me. It's like I will concede if you give me correct factual information that goes against what I'm saying because I look like an idiot when I'm wrong. Oh, okay, Stoic one. These arguments are really coming from women who really lack high quality femininity. No high quality woman seeks to antagonize men. Yeah, you said a lot there, brother. Oh boy, yeah. Look who we got here. Another habitual line stepper. What's up, Roger?
What's up, man? Can you hear me? Am I clear?
We can hear you, sir. How you doing?
Okay, brother. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just happened to turn on the vibe here. Saw you out here doing the broadcast. Started listening real quick, and so I ain't hear you from the beginning. But I am gonna say that, man, I think we're doing fine at the end of the day. And let me say why I think we're doing fine. Because you just mentioned the social contract. I know someone said that we need a new social contract, and honestly, I don't think we need a new social contract at all. We got a contract that is working like a charm, if you ask me.
So
The
you care to
contract,
elaborate?
yes.
And by the
Oh yeah,
way, and by
yeah.
the way, and by the way, this is Roger Stevens. He runs a YouTube channel, The Roger Report. Um, yeah, please go look for that channel and subscribe. In fact, we probably need to put the link in the chat.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say this: if you ain't subscribed to my channel, stop playing with yourself. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? You're better than that to not be subscribed to my channel. You're better than that. Okay. But when it comes down to it, we got a social contract. The thing is, people haven't mentioned this social contract in so long. A lot of folks don't know what it is. They don't know how to interpret it. However, people say men and women need to operate, no matter what your religious background, it's gonna come out to these basic three things from each side. The men are supposed to supply leadership, protection, and provision. And everyone seems to know men are supposed to do this. And people really stress that men should give protection and provision, even though when it comes to the black community, they don't want the leadership that goes with that protection and provision. So now on the other side, the women, and y'all listen up closely because I know women have no clue what they're supposed to do when it comes to men. Because when you ask them, so far, every time I've heard a woman ask this question, she's never had an answer. No. I'm gonna say no. There was one time a woman did have an answer. Wasn't necessarily the best, but she did have a answer. But usually they don't have an answer. What women are supposed to give the men, write it down, ladies. Loyalty, good character, and good company. Okay? Meaning you have to be loyal to the man that you're with. If you're with a brother, you got to be loyal to that brother. If you're not loyal to that brother, meaning you're not faithful to that man, you're just a hoe at that point. You're absolutely useless. You mean nothing at that point. If he cannot have your loyalty, okay, not loyalty some of the time, loyalty all the time. If you can't give him 100% loyalty, you're useless to any man that's about something. Outside of sex, you're nothing. And that may sting to hear, but that's just reality. When it comes to good character, the reason why you must have good character, if I'm going to take it to the point where I'm willing to marry a woman, live a life with this woman, I have to be able to trust this woman, not just when she's in my face. I got to be able to trust her when she's behind my back. And how she is will affect my children. So if I'm going to have children with a woman, I need someone who's going to give them other traits that are good characteristics. I don't need a foul woman influencing my children heavily. I'm going to avoid that every step of the way. Now, also, it comes to good company. When I'm around you, do I like you? I'm not talking about love. Love is different than like. You see what I'm saying? We hang out with our friends. As a man, you hang out with male friends. We like those guys. It's just a different way than we like women. I like playing video games, or I like shooting pool, or I like playing football, or I like playing basketball. Whatever the guys do in that particular situation, it's very different than the like we have for our women. So when we chill out with women, when we go on a date, if we're watching a movie together, if I come by your place, if we're not married, or you come by my place, or if we are married, when we get together, is that enjoyable quality time? Are you good company for that man? Well, in today's times, a lot of women have elected to not be loyal. They have elected to not have good character, and they have elected to not be good company to the brothers. And the contract is working because there are so many brothers that are single and not married to these women. Now, I know people may say, hey, something ain't right. Well, that's true. Something isn't right, but the contract is working because the women that refuse to give up the loyalty, the good character, and the good company, well, the men are refusing to give up the leadership, the protection, and the provision. And if you don't understand how that coincides with each other, then I'm gonna hope that you learn to read and get a little smarter so you can enjoy these channels a lot more. Because I'm not saying anything that's really complicated. If you can't understand this, I'm gonna ask that you choose to be a smarter person. God didn't make you so dumb that you couldn't understand this. I think you're just as smart as I am. That's what I believe. So the contract is definitely working. If you're not participating in the contract, if you're a woman, then something is off with your loyalty, something is off with your character, or something is off with your company. Now, when it comes to the men, you have to make sure everything is right with your leadership, everything is right with your protection, and everything is right with your provision. And even if you're not with someone, you're supposed to give them people, other black people should be able to get your loyalty, your character, and your company, or from the male part, your leadership, your protection, or provision, just in a lesser manner. So if you have a job, let's say a man and a woman works together, you have a job. That woman needs to understand information so she can perform well on her job. You're supposed to be able to go to that sister and say, look, I see you having a little trouble with X, Y, and Z. Here go a couple of pointers. Boom, boom. Here you go. You see what I'm saying? That's how you look out. When it comes to women, women gonna hear BS that the man may not necessarily hear. Look, man, they're talking about doing cuts in this department and doing this, and they're gonna need people to know this, that, and that. You're supposed to take this information back to the brothers. So we're supposed to share information where we can help each other out. The problem with black folks, they've gotten so far away from the contract, they don't know how to benefit by being part of the same group. Every other group knows how to operate in the group, and they look out for each other on the personal level, but they also look out for each other on the more indirect level when they're out in the world together. We got to learn to do the same thing. If we participate in the contract, we'll get much better results. And that's pretty much what I got to say on that, because that's why I kind of came in at, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do appreciate it. And I'll add to this. The public displays of disrespect is not helping at all. Like,
Well,
don't act.
well,
Say
I was
what,
just gonna
Ross?
say, a public display of disrespect automatically zones you out of good company. So if you disrespect someone publicly, as a brother, automatically your leadership, your protection, and provision should be reneged from that particular woman. That's
Yeah, but don't you
automatic.
think
You
that?
don't.
But
Oh, go ahead.
don't you think that ruins the other two also, the loyalty and the good character as well? If they're willing to
Well, my thing,
publicly disrespect you, go ahead.
if you're gonna publicly disrespect me, you're already not good company. I'm in your presence, and you're not being good company to me. So
But
therefore,
let
your
me
loyalty doesn't matter.
but
Well, I'm
let me
saying your
stop.
loyalty don't matter. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
but let me when I say public disrespect, I don't mean like, I mean, yeah, in some cases, the female physically being out with you to publicly disrespect you. I'm talking about all of these diatribes and all these narratives that are out here as well. I mean, these be the main ones asking for protection and provision and complaining about submission, but yet they take their platforms and they publicly disrespect you and black men as a group.
Yeah, but again, I was just gonna say, if you publicly disrespect black men, they're supposed to withdraw their leadership protection provision from you in particular. Not every woman, just the person who gave the public disrespect. Because once you publicly disrespect me, I don't need your loyalty at that point. You see what I'm saying? It's null and void at that point. You being of good character no longer matters because you're willing to disrespect me. So maybe you show good character to other people, but you're not showing it to me. So therefore, as an individual, I have to withdraw my leadership, my protection, my provision from you. You got to make it on your own at that point. You see what I'm saying? What if you
Yeah.
disrespecting me, whether it's on social media or whether we're in the same location? There's nothing I can do for you because my leadership, protection, and provision are for the people on my team. When you show me that you won't give me the loyalty, you won't give me the good character, and you won't give me the good company, even if we're not boyfriend, girlfriend, man or wife, or anything like that, you're supposed to give it to me at a lesser level. But if you won't give it to me at a lesser level, my lesser level protection, provision, and leadership is automatically withdrawn. You're on your own as far as I'm concerned. I can't help
Mm.
you. So
Yeah,
it's
but let
it's
me
same.
let me
Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
let me ask you this: Are we basically asking these women to step and fetch?
I don't,
Oh,
I'm not getting how we are doing that at all.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to take it to an extreme because a lot of these women think that what we want to do, we want to take it to the extremest level possible. We want you to sit down, shut up, and then wait for us to tell you something in order for you to do it. That's not what any of us are trying to say.
No, no. I mean,
But
I think that's a legitimate concern for women who listen to white men. Tell them how black men are going to do them. If you listen to white men and that's your idea, then yeah, you're supposed to think that way. But that tells me what? You're not on my team.
yep.
Because the people on my
Mm,
team
mm,
get
mm,
instructions from us. The people that's not on my team, they get different instructions. It's just the same way if you play in any sport. Because life and sports, there's a lot of parallels that they run into that. So we're playing basketball, and our coach is giving us instructions, but you're trying to follow the instructions of the opposing coach. How are we on the same team? Like we can't work well together. I'm not putting you on the floor with my team because you listening to the opposing coach. So they're
mm,
trying to figure out how to beat us. If you listen to the opposition, you're not on my team. Therefore, you're useless to me.
mm. Taking cues from another group instead of staying within the group.
Hey, there you go.
Yep,
I,
that's not a good thing for those of you watching out there.
yeah, and I don't have no love lost for people that's not on my team. You know,
Mm.
I would love to live in this
Um,
beautiful society where everybody was on the same team and everybody tried to make everything else good for everybody else. But I live in America.
mm,
America done told me it's a team sport, and these teams are separated by race. And it's just
mhm.
what it is. It doesn't make a difference how I feel about it. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let us respond to what King Vicious Production said. You see that on the screen. Women need the protection and leadership of their husband. If a woman chooses to be single and be independent, then she doesn't deserve my umbrella of protection. Now you know what
Well,
I said in the past, Roger. You
and
remember when I said that the
I,
only ones
absolutely,
that I
absolutely.
those are the only ones that I am obligated to protect. I am not gonna put on a fucking super suit and all of a sudden get these magical psychic powers to let me know where the trouble is right offhand. And I'm sure that there are brothers out there that wish they had that kind of superpower. But until then, I got to do what I know. All my protection has to go to my wife and my child. It's
Well,
like
see, this
if like go ahead.
no, I'm saying I
Oh,
understand any brother who feels that way, and that's because, like I said, there's a lesser level of leadership protection and provision that men should be given to women, but there's also a lesser level of good character, good company, and loyalty that women should be given to the men, because the men have gone without that lesser level of good character, good company, and loyalty. I'm not gonna say what you're saying is wrong, but the thing is, as a man, I've seen women withdraw their good character, their good company, and their loyalty. Therefore, the man owes them nothing. I personally don't want men to feel like their leadership protection provision should only be for the women they're dealing with. I would like it to be for more women, but I can't tell a man to give the lesser level to the women he doesn't know unless the women he doesn't know are given that lesser level of good character, good company, and loyalty. If they're not being loyal to you, why are you trying to protect them? That doesn't make sense to me. So I understand why you said that. I understand what this brother's saying. But at the end of the day, I would say, hey, give it to other black women, but other black women would still have to qualify for it. And if they're not qualifying for it, I can't tell you to give it to them.
mm, great observation. We just had Edward Anderson join us. What's going on, Edward?
Nothing much, just passing through. I might go in on this MOT shit, but just want to pass through, want to say what's up. It's the weekend, so I'm like, yeah, it's when the real work begins. That's when I really go to work is on the weekend because I get to do shit for myself. So yeah,
Word.
I feel that.
Okay.
yeah. Just came out of Best Buy. I had to get some tech. Go shop around that open box. Tell my connect like, what do you got for me? You got that thing? So anyway, but no, man, I kind of got the gist of what y'all talk about. Y'all talk about protect. I know what the title is. Y'all talk about protection, or what were y'all just talking about?
Uh, we
In
we
that
were just
particular
generally.
point, oh, go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
No. I mean, the subject matter started out. Do black women ever argue with black men? Because that's a question I kind of. It's kind of a
Hmm.
thing that I keep hearing that all these black men are doing and arguing with these black women. I'm like, does anyone ever say it the other way around? I mean, do they ever
Oh,
do they understand that sometimes women do poke at men when they decide to be a part of black male conversations?
And
oh,
and even with that, my interpretation is that at the end of the day, it's still gonna always come down to that social contract of men should provide protection, provision, and leadership, but they should provide that to women that gives them loyalty, good character, and good company. So if a woman always sees a problem with men but can't see a problem with women, you can't have good character. You definitely can't be good. Therefore, you don't qualify for protection or leadership or provision. You don't qualify for this stuff. So as a woman, you got to qualify for what the man is supposed to give you. And even
well,
though when we're in
that's
a relationship, there's a higher level of it, but there should be a lower level for people that you're not in a relationship with.
well,
But they're
well,
also
that's
going to.
true. I mean, that's true. And let me tell you, you don't hear black men talking about little black females that are like, let's really fucking rank it. Like, can we be honest? And I'm not talking about where you. I'm not going where you think I'm gonna go. So you got babies, right? You got
Mhm.
you got 12 and under. You got folks that are absolutely helpless. You got 12 and under. You got teenagers. Let's call that 17 and under. You got 18 to 21, 21 to 29, and then you got 30. Let's just say 30 to middle. Let's just say 21 to 35. Let's call it that. And then you got basically middle age, and then you got elderly. And you could merge, like you could do like 17 and under straight up. But let's look at all of that. Ain't nobody talking about babies should not get, protection. But a lot of their outcomes is going to be predicated on how they were created in the first place, as far as them being an infant, right? Which conversation never really happened. See, with that baby protection, I could talk about the unborn. I could talk about that shit too, right? But see, that's a place that most black men don't want to go. When you talk about, children, you don't ever really hear black men arguing they should be protected. But then the women will talk about well, black women are not protected because all these black girls are getting like stolen. Okay, well, let's talk in percentages. What percentage of black women are really stolen? Like real talk. And then in that percent, and if we talk about all black women that is supposedly disappearing, let's really, why hasn't anybody really investigated why that is? Why hasn't anybody ever really I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying, why is it always this shadow of they just get taken and that's it? Because we can argue a lot of folks are running away. It's a lot more going on than what that wants to get seen. It ain't that they all being taken and sex trafficked. That's not what's going on in America. That's bullshit. Because you don't even see that with women getting picked up, that's what they had. Oh, I was stolen from somewhere and I got reunited. So whatever. Then we got the teenagers. The point is, all these groups have agency to a certain extent, and it's as they get older, they have more ability to make decisions. That's my overall point. So my problem with a lot of these conversations that women have is that they don't really want to have the conversation. They just want to throw a shaming tactic to create an outcome. And that's why it almost becomes not even, black men got to get better about using what's called the right to remain silent. Just do. Meaning, don't even tell them why you're bouncing, just bounce. And to the credit, most black men do that. Most black men are not quote unquote SYSBM. Most black men just do it. And they don't even know what that means. They just date who fucks with them. So when we come back, my overall point when it comes to stuff like protection, they are so childlike where they expect men to do shit. No woman gets things without giving it. And so if I were to ask black women, look at any other woman, and you really telling me that they just get and there's nothing to give? Is that really what you see? Because if that's what you see, that's a big reason why they get the outcomes they get. Because the women that don't see that are the women that don't have that problem being protected. Because all black women don't have an issue being protected. And all black women don't have an issue being protected from random black men. A lot of women that have an issue with being protected from random black men are women that they stay in fucking trouble, meaning they stay starting shit. And also, they don't have a real good grounding of how to deal with their own men, so they frame it from a shaming perspective. But I know plenty of black women that will have no problem getting protection from black men that never met them before because of how they carry themselves. And these are not super fine black women either.
No, it doesn't take being fine to be protected. It just takes
exactly
having that good force.
Black men can actually feel the aura of a black woman. Black men can, it's so big of a difference that black men can almost literally instantly feel a sister that's not being, this genuinely does not have a problem with black men. I don't have a problem as long as I want something. And if I were to put certain women up there and you have a conversation with them about anything, even contentious topics, black men will instantly know what I'm fucking talking about, and you will instantly see them respond in a very different way than how they generally respond to a lot of chicks that come on here. Cocaine's a good example of that, to be honest with you. It's actually a perfect example of that. And there's a few others.
True. And I will have to say, when it comes to the missing people part, now it's an estimated 44 million black people that live in America. There's an estimated 65,000 missing. That's 0.0.
And that's not just black girls. That's everybody.
Exactly. But that's only 0.00147 something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even close to 1%. So,
and I'm not trying to marginalize it at all, but even within those percentages, then if you want to talk about black girls, you could cut it because you're cutting it by gender. So then that cuts it almost in half, because that's what they do. They act like, because here's the thing, a lot more black men are missing because they're homeless. So they're not really missing. So that's a big reason. We know a lot of black women are not homeless. You don't never hear them talk. You don't never hear black women talk about homelessness, because that's not a black female problem. That's a black male problem, and they don't give a fuck. So when we look at these girls, these girls are not just a lot of them. When I say a lot, I don't mean most, but I mean it's a lot of reasons. When you look at like Amber Rose had 2 parents. How the fuck she wound up in a strip club at 16? Cardi B, same thing. It's a lot of these stories. They weren't sex trafficked. Let's keep it all the way fucking real. I mean, there's women I know, there's business women, and they talk about how they were on the pole at an early age, like an early age, and nobody put them on the pole. They need to make easy money, and that's what they chose to do. You know, they chose to want to be in them streets. And I'm not trying to marginalize any of it, but see, there's a reason why I can't details as far as any stories or anything.
Well, when you reject the leadership, protection, provision of a man, which even may be your father at the time, when we talking about people that are minors, well, that's what the pole is out there for you. That's what happens. You gotta
Well,
get it your own. You know, the
yeah.
pole is coming in a lot of cases.
And also, there is no protection without following orders. You know, shout out to the movie A Few Good Men. You know, Colonel Jessup's. You know, I'm Jack Nicholson's character. He said it what it was, and I'm not. We could negotiate the ratio of orders to protection, but a shield cannot protect what wants to be in front of the shield. People don't understand that. So women don't understand how they attract their very own reality because they're thinking from an emotional perspective. And the problem with black men, where black men have to absolutely stop doing this, and we got to stop assuming that everything that comes out of that black female's mouth. You got to qualify what they say. A lot of women are not even qualified to even, in my opinion, speak. Because they have demonstrated that everything that comes out of their mouth is just utter bullshit. Now, there's certain women that I don't even challenge anything they say, and I don't even question anything they say because they've demonstrated to me over time that, number one, they think in logic, and number two, they're trustworthy. But even if they're not necessarily trustworthy, I can still, follow the rules if they're going to do what's in their best interest, and then follow the rules of logic because they operate on that. But a lot of women, and the problem in the manosphere is when we have women come on, is there's only a couple of women that's actually even qualified for me even to listen to. That's not an absolute waste of time. It's only a few of them, and they don't necessarily have to agree with what we're saying, but they're the ones that at least they're gonna go fucking check what the fuck we're saying, and not be on the programming. Because talking to a lot of these chicks is like talking to the same bitch. They all saying the same shit. As far as any dude that's talking about protecting women, like absolutely no, there's no men do that. Absolutely. You don't see white men just out of nowhere protecting black women, do you? You don't see Latin men doing that shit. You don't see that. Why? Why? Because black women ain't like black, because black women are always threatening to go to other men. Oh, but we're gonna go with this white man. I ain't never seen when the last time you seen a white man or a non-black man protect a black woman? Well, that's because of racism. Nah, that ain't all because of racism. A lot of it's because of racism.
No, it don't make a difference. Why? It just didn't happen.
Yeah, that should tell you. That should tell you something. That's like if a man says no woman of any race fucks with me. Okay, then the argument is not because of black women. The argument is you need to take a look at what the fuck is wrong with you. Because now you in the experiment, you are the constant. The variable, no matter how you do the variable, is the same constant. So that should tell you everything you need to know. So I mean, but when dudes come out here caping for protection, because here's where the argument comes from in the black community. Argument in the black community is everything a black woman does is because of what a black man did to her. So women are fundamentally good. They don't do wrong unless wrong has been done to them, and they respond to it. And by the way, in general America, we believe that women are fundamentally good. That's what we're taught. That's a lot of Disney movies and all that. Women are fundamentally good. They're fundamentally just. They're fundamentally holy. And men are fundamentally flawed. And men depend on women as a guiding compass for what morality is. Now, when you understand this is really a white conversation where white men are talking, because that's really a more commentary on white chauvinism, but than anything. But every man is not chauvinistic like white men. Like all men are not the same. Latin men are not the same as white men. Black men are not the same as Latin men. African men are not the same as ADOS black men. I mean, come on. So, but you notice how feminism always talks from a perspective of all men, as if all men have the same rights and capacity to do everything. But to bring it back to protection, the idea is if black men do this overwhelming thing and give a black woman everything she wants and needs, then she will be happy. That's a lie. You can look at most of your black athletes and know that's not true. You can look at Shoney. You can look at Kevin Garnett. You can look at your black athletes and know that's not true. Apex dudes that are apex physical alphas, apex economic alphas. And yet what happens? They go through the same shit because that shit is not true. But when women get everything they want, they will go for the next thing. Now, a lot of women will be grateful and will be happy. LeBron's girl is a perfect example. But this idea that we want to generalize all women and be unjust is bullshit. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, when it comes to a man that's actually playing the sport versus a man that's retired from the sport, results are starting to look a little bit different. You know, as long as you that star and everyone knows who you are and you have that status, women stick with you, it seems like. But a lot of times it's when they retire, where they don't have that same level of status anymore, then things become a problem. So there is something to black women do have to put out certain things. But even with me saying that, it's still going to go right back into the same things. Are you loyal? Because if you're with me while I'm making these millions of dollars in whatever league I'm in, then you should be loyal to me when I come out that league. Period. So
a woman, a black woman sees a white man or a non-black man protects his woman. A black woman is seeing a love language, a man showing love for his woman. A man sees that, and what's happening is a man sees, and it's not what a man sees, it's what it is. That man is protecting his asset. He is protecting what is perceived to be his, not necessarily from a property standpoint. But look, if you have a wife, then what? You're protecting your wife. You have a daughter, you're protecting your daughter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, that's how men see it. Men do not protect what they do not have responsibility for. They do not have responsibility for what they believe they have no fundamental control over. So women, and this is the mothers not teaching the daughters how to create the best outcomes for themselves. This goes beyond black men. This just is how men think. And you got a generation of women that failed, and they've taught the X generation, and they've taught the millennial generation, and now the Z's are kind of at least seeing the buzzsaw, which is what the millennials are going through, and then a lot of them are making a different direction. And it's a lot of them, you know, like I said, some of them are dating non-black, because here's the thing: when they act right, they get more options. So black men are going to have to earn some of these black women, and that's okay. But at the same time, like these Xers, see what these millennials don't fucking understand, and these Xer women, they could live and die on Section 8. That's what a lot of people like. The X generation was the generation that could literally be born in Section 8 and damn near die on it. No other generation was able to tap the government in that way before, because it wasn't just started. See, that's one thing that doesn't get talked about. They were able to tap the government through Section 8. They were able to tap the government through these child support laws. They were able to benefit when they adjusted the child support laws and made them have to work. They also gave black women a very easy access into going to school with Pell Grants. They have been able to drink off of the government tit more than any other generation of women. And the millennials followed suit. And the problem is the millennial women, when they get our age, which is like, you know, I'm 33, some of them 40, they're realizing that those rules are getting changed. And they're not getting changed in a good way. They're giving men more ability to fight for their kids. They're getting Section 8 is not easy to come by. You got automation, which was not a problem. You know, these extra women could easily find a dude that worked in a plant or worked in a fucking Pepsi company. Those dudes were considered lowbrow dudes. A dude making like $25 an hour or $30 an hour to do overtime working at a Pepsi plant was not necessarily prime real estate for a basic bitch, because they had access to all this other money. And we're not even talking about the do hair money. We ain't even talking about that kind of money. We ain't talking about the street money. You know, so they had it so easy, and the millennials followed suit, and that shit worked up to a point. But the later millennials are realizing that shit doesn't work, and the Z's are seeing how fucked up they got it, and they're like, fuck that. That's why your chicks that are like 18 to 21, 22 are not acting that way, like that, because they see and by the way, the Z's they're coming up with also saw what these and I'm gonna call them that, what these bitches are doing, regardless if they're a white bitch or a Latin bitch. They see it, so now they're coming out the gate like, oh no, Fuck boy rules all day. You bitches will be ran through the goddamn grinder, and we don't give a That's why you got people like Ramil and shit. These are all on what Ramil is on. Pump and dump. Pump and dump that pussy. Fuck your feelings.
Well,
Fuck no. Single mother? No.
the fact that black men have able to be vocal on a mass level because of social media, that's telling the younger ladies what, you know what I'm saying, regardless of what their mama is saying, they're hearing what men are saying at this point. So once they start tapping into what men are saying, the behavior starts to change because they know you have a large section of men that's saying, I will never be with you. And they don't want to end up
What's scary is everything Z's are doing has nothing to do with anything online. It's all them. So God forbid the generation that grows up hearing what the fuck we say.
What
The Z's are operating based on what they see, not based on anything online. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. The Z's are operating only based on the behaviors of women that they see. Z's don't deify white women. They know white women are for getting ran through because they freaks. You don't see black men really deify white women like that. I mean, some of them do, but most of us don't. Most of us look at white women as sexual access. You know, and that's all it is. And women do that bullshit.
But I'm saying the behavior that those things have a lot to do with what's been said online. Even that with everything that's been said online, then you add the laws relationship, and you also add what people are talking about in school, or what's being shown on television. That everything adds up to, I need to do something different if I want to go. Because their mamas and their grandmamas and their aunties both to a certain degree.
Well, what you're seeing is they don't have answers. That's the problem. The problem is they asking the women in their family, and the women don't have any answers. They're just telling them the same bullshit. It's men for blah, 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 and that shit doesn't work. Because these women ain't even been through the bullshit to even get bitter like that. And they realize, okay, you don't have answers. Your only answer is that nigga ain't shit. Well, I'm not asking if black men are shit. I'm asking like this. And really that nigga ain't shit. It's code for ain't no welfare, ain't no Section 8. These dudes ain't simping like they used to. Because regardless of how many, I'm gonna keep it all the way fucking real. A lot of these dudes that talk this shit about what black men should do, they lying. A lot of the dudes that talk about self-improvement and stuff like that, and I'm all for self-improvement, but these motherfuckers ain't doing the same shit they talking. They don't. A lot of them don't even date black women out the gate. I talk the shit I talk, because I date mostly black women. I date those black women. You know, I mean, people. You know, what I'm talking about is not the people I deal with directly. I'm talking about the overall group. This is like politics. Like, I'm a Democrat. You hear all the shit I talk about with the Democratic Party, but I am a registered Democrat. So somebody can say, well, why would you talk that much shit about the Democratic Party, but you're registered Democrat? Well, number one, I live in the South. Number two, I do vote in primaries. So you got to be registered somewhere in order to do that. And number three, local politics, state politics, all that shit is a little bit different. Just because I talk about how fucked up the overall Democratic Party is and how the Democratic Party needs to change and how black people need to basically force the issue does not necessarily mean, like, I'm logic no matter what. And people don't really, and that's not to say that the Republicans are bad. If Republicans are offering better shit, then I'm gonna vote for them. It just in our state, sometimes they are. Sometimes there's situations. So my point is, black people act like that we can't walk and chew gum at the same time. We have this emotionalism where something has to always be true because our emotions are geared to that, and too many dudes fall into that too. Not even just the women. This is why they have these arguments where it's like, these are low IQ arguments. I mean, shit. I was listening. Don't get me started listening to that goddamn that video where Ramil was on with O'Shea, and then hearing, you know, just some of the stupid shit motherfuckers are saying. Is this like, y'all motherfuckers must have been smoking too much crack back in the day, because the way y'all act is just damn. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Ken. Go ahead, you sense.
No. Somebody got some background noise going, but we have been joined by Kachi Gamers. Are you there? Can you hear?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining us.
I
I
just wanted
understand
to
that. Go ahead.
my whole story recently. So the story goes. I mean,
Hey, brother. Hey, excuse me. You're borging out really bad. Can you hop off? Can you hop off and hop back
really
in? Yeah, you're borging out really
sure. Hold
bad.
on.
Like barely hear you. Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, I can
You
hear you
sound a little
now.
bit better now.
Okay, the sound better. Okay, yeah, I turned up the
Yes.
volume actually. I didn't. Okay. So I want to start my bad. I was born in Nigeria until about 5 years. About 3 years, I went back. So that's until I was like about 13. So I came back to we went to the military. Fast forward to that in 2013, met an African American woman here. I'm 40 now. I think right now she's 37. We were in a relationship for about 5 years. Um, Now, within the 5 years, of course, we break up, we'll get together. But now this is where it gets interesting. Now, when we break up, um, first time we broke up, we were both in Dallas. She moved to Arizona. Did what she needed to do. Her master came back. I came back. Apologized or whatever. Came back. We got to get out. Moved to Arizona. We broke up again. And sometimes it's over from little stuff, or sometimes it's from serious stuff. But
Yeah, that
the more
sounds
serious
right. The
issues
breakup and
came
makeup
where
bullshit.
correct. So, but the more serious issues comes to her biological father, strong military guy. I kind of knew I saw the signs of issues there, but me being who I am, I'm around a little bit. Her biological father left her mom after having 2 kids. They met in the military. Now, he left her, went and married another woman, and they had 5 kids with that woman. It took at least 3
Was it
years for
another
her to
black
tell me
woman?
that her
Sorry to
mom
cut you off. Was it another black woman? Gotta ask.
yeah, he went and married another black woman and had 5 kids with her.
Okay, good for
Now,
dude. Good for dude.
Yeah, but I mean, the question is, how can a highly decorated military man leave a woman you have 2 kids with and go marry another woman and have 5 kids with her? I mean, she doesn't like to ask questions about that. She just said, "Oh, he just left." I mean, that's
like a
fine.
cooperation. That's probably
Yeah,
a
so
cooperation.
yeah, which is fine as far as the answer that she provided. I mean, at that point, I was saying it was fine because I want to kind of the peace. So I tried to.
Yeah, like, dude, are you still there? Or is it me?
No, I don't hear him either.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He played that Rolling Stone shit. That Papa was a Rolling Stone shit on him.
What? But he didn't he say that was the young lady's father that did that?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard him say?
Hello?
Yeah. I
Can you
think
hear me?
if a man has,
Yeah.
we hear you now. We hear you now.
Okay.
But I was just saying, if a man has 2 kids with a woman, and then he moves up and goes to have 5 kids with another woman, that to me that kind of sounds like the first woman was the issue. That's what I would have to, if I just
Yeah.
had to make an assumption. It sounded like she was the issue. He didn't have any kids or a family, a problem to do with her. So,
Now, if he just kept on doing it over and over and over again, then yeah, obviously he's the constant. But that would mean that he probably know how to put it down. But then his personality fucks him up in the game. But if he stopped after the second chick, then yeah, that means something happened because he clearly wasn't done. And there's a lot of dudes like that, by the way. There's a lot of I know black men that are married right now. They be like, yo, if this shit goes bad, they got one more in them and that's it. Like, remember, BGS said you got to break up with a woman once. And that tells you everything you need to know, kind of in general, the fact that that's true. That's dead true. Yeah, dude, we can't hear you, man, because I want to hear your story, man. You know, Paris Milan, be I got a Nigerian man and he's perfect.
Well,
And I'm like,
gonna say,
right.
I'm not so into the break up to make up thing. Because I feel like if you broke up with me, then at the end of the day, I'm not a whole new person, and neither are you. We probably just going to end up breaking up. So,
well, that's it. A lot of that is immature shit. Shit happens, but a lot of that shit be immature shit. But go ahead, because we can kind of hear you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I switched to an analog mic. I was trying to use a Bluetooth headset, but I don't know. It's pretty bad. Can you guys hear me fine now? I'm with an analog mic. So.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, I just plugged in a headset instead of using.
That would just have niggas.
So, you know, fast forward. So I kind of delved a little bit deeper, and so here, what you guys kind of deduced from that is actually true. She was the mother was problematic, very man-ish, I have to say, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But so another underlying issue I discovered was that basically, I mean, it took her 2 years just to tell me that okay, the mother took child support, you know. So why is that so hard to understand? Okay, child support, that's fair, but why did it take 2 years for you to admit that, you know, your mother took child support? Now, so as far as our relationship breakdown goes, it was basically like it was her habits. Basically, she drinks a lot. I mean, she drinks heavily. Okay, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a saint myself. You know, I'm in Arizona, for Christ's sake. You know, I work from home. I'm in IT. I can't say the company I work for, but let me put it this way: everybody uses it. Let me put it this way: everybody uses it. They're giant fruit. So I've been there for quite a while, almost a decade now. Started being with the company, so it was really her alcoholism, and digging a little bit deeper, I found out her mom's brother was pretty much, was addicted to crack cocaine for a while. I mean, I understand addiction is a disease. You know, I kind of feel bad for people that do it, to get hooked on that kind of stuff. But you know, I was just kind of seeing like the picture on the wall, something to that effect. You know, what was going on as far as the family background is concerned. So I kind of stuck to it because she's not that way, but I kind of had a problem with her.
Mm-hmm. Are you still talking?
He be fade now.
Yeah. He's like in a spot where the reception's pretty
Hello?
bad. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so like I say, in my household,
Oh, that's
like,
a lot better.
Yeah, if you marry somebody, you marry the family. You know, you marry somebody, like they're saying. I'm Igbo, by the way. So as if you marry someone, you marry the family. So I was trying to get her, you know, to communicate with my mom. You know, call. You know, she wouldn't do it. It literally took this girl 4 years to learn how to say my real name. 4 years. Now, within that whole 4 years leading to the 5th year, when we broke up in Arizona, I'll move all the way back to Texas. I stayed in Arizona for a year, but I'll move all my stuff back to Texas. And moving is not cheap, as everybody knows. If you're moving all your stuff, you have a car, you have, you know, electronics. I mean, moving is not cheap. I mean, at least for me, it's not cheap because I'm not going to go stay in the hood. You know?
Not from state to state. It's not cheap. Not from state to state.
Correct. It's not cheap. So I did this 3 times. This is how foolish I was. I did this 3 times until this final time where I actually moved back over, got engaged. I bought the whole Vera Wang set, the engagement ring and the band. I mean, I didn't spare anything. I mean, of course, now I feel stupid because everybody's telling me, man, I got my girl moissanite. I didn't even, you know, some saying, oh, I didn't even get anything. You know, I feel very foolish now. But anyway, so it kind of got to a head where I'm actually giving you my check. And then one time I did a withdrawal from like a credit card, and I got disrespected because I did that. So she was very disrespectful. The drinking wouldn't stop. You make an agreement with her to work out, because I'm a workout kind of guy. I like to work out. You give her 3 days, literally 3 days, and that's it. I mean, 3 days when it comes to working out or just eating clean. 3 days. That's all this girl can manage is 3 days. And of course, she finds the way to make it my fault. She will literally find the way to make it my fault. She's a master. She became a master justifier. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, accountability is not there. It's always the man's fault. Now, of course, everybody's asking, like, I mean, come on. You yourself, you're not, like I said, I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. But I'm the kind of guy, I come from a family background, is that me letting go of my DNA is real difficult for me. Okay. Now, a lot of people say, well, you're Nigerian, you're probably one of those Africans that think we're this. No, absolutely not. I grew up here. I grew up in the town of Addison, Texas. I went to high school here, college here. Most of my black friends, I mean, I listen to rap. I mean, most of the people find it hard to believe that I'm actually from where I say that I'm from. Because I like to have a very open mind. I'm a really open-minded person from anything or everything. I'm very open-minded. Okay. But I'm not going to be, though, is I'm not going to be dusty. I believe in hanging out with I believe in hanging out with the losers and the lepers, to help them out.
Is dusty really a thing?
I mean, it's the whole, but I think using the definition, it's kind of like, okay, let's say the way Tariq Nasheed put it, I think his is a little bit more extreme. The way I say dusty's like, or maybe I'm doing the extreme one here. It's like, okay, like a person that just doesn't care for themselves. Like, you don't groom yourself. You don't get to go look for a job. You're absolutely not doing anything to contribute.
And on a quick side note, I think men and women have a different definition of really what's dusty. Like, most men would associate dusty as non-productive, as well as the stuff you talked about when it comes to grooming. Yeah. A lot of women would call dusty. It's like if they can't call you another thing, then they're just gonna call you dusty. Like, so it's like, if you're, because here's the thing: a woman will never say that they're sexually attracted to dusty dudes. They would never say that. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let you go. In my opinion, that any dude that's driving a car of a female, that's the dusty dude. Like, if you're driving her car because you have no car, I'm talking, the type. We're not talking about you lost your car got wrecked, and you're in the transition. Know who I'm talking about. But women are still fucking. That's why they drive their car.
Yeah, anyway. Absolutely. And just to add that to that, and I'm not saying dusty, because, like you said, there's levels. People have we have all different perspectives when it comes to the definition of dusty.
Let me say this real quick. Let me interject real quick. Dusty don't matter when it comes to sisters, because they're dating, having sex with, and having kids by the very men that are fall into the dusty category, whether it be a man or a woman. They're still with these guys. So at the end of the day, dusty don't work out into sisters. Yeah. So my thing is, it's not something that excludes you. So if dusty excluded men, it would mean something, but it doesn't. So it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of hierarchy. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of a hierarchy when it comes to dusty. But what you just said about them, having a guy driving their car when the guy doesn't have a car, wearing a tank top, and just being absolutely not contributing to society, and then they're still in the graces of this. I mean, beautiful women. Come to Dallas, Texas, and I will just show you. I mean, it's everywhere. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, people act like there's this place where, and I'm not trying to be mean, because it ain't no place with a whole bunch of brothers.
No, you're not being mean. Yeah. No, you're not being mean. These are actual facts. You're not being mean if you're saying actual facts. So it happens. So, I mean, excuse me if I digressed a little bit here, and I really enjoy you guys' company and the conversation. So as far as the behavior I'm noticing is that she has these, I want to call it mental hangups. She had the alcohol issue, and then she justifies everything and finds a way to make it my fault. So I just dug a little bit deeper, trying to find out, where does this come from? Because for me to come back the third time, our argument was like, okay, if you coming back the third time, we're really gonna do it this time. If we have any kind of issues, I'll seek therapy. You know, we'll go together. You know, all these agreements, litany of agreements that we hashed out. Okay, so came back, everything was good. I've been giving her my checks. I mean, everything was all good until I started getting disrespected.
You was back. Hold on, you keep saying you were giving her your checks.
Yeah, for a few months I did that. I mean, like I said, I'm foolish. Just let me.
And you, I'm not even at this point. I'm not even about to go there. I'm just saying it was funny how you said like I'm back giving her my check, and I'm gonna tell you real quick why I say that. Because okay, so I use Uber a lot, and you pick up, you would pick up, ain't every once in a while, but it wasn't often, African, whatever, from Nigeria, Uganda, whatever. And they were in the engineering school at NC State. Very hard thing to get in. It's like the Hunger Games. They take pride in who don't make it. And a lot of times they would talk about, if they did deal with African American women, it would be older. And I already knew it was gonna be some bullshit if they were like 3 or 4 years older than them. Let's say they're like 20 or 21 because they're in that school engineering. But the woman they deal with was like 25, 26. I already know what it is because for their end. Because it's a hustle, and what it is it comes to how it's a game of how long are you gonna accept they bullshit before you charge them. And what happens is a lot of times dudes, particularly from and I know you grew up here, but I'm saying a lot of dudes from Africa have this culture that black women will try to take advantage of if you don't check them hard and like basically put them in a box. Is they have this culture where it's my manhood. It's something I gotta be doing because my manhood is supposed to bring this chick to heel. That's usually correct. Usually. But never so it's not, they've been taught that you've been taught how to carry yourself as a man. And if a woman is not doing that, it's not like after saying it's their fault, but it's just they're told that their manhood can overwhelm a woman's shit. They're never going in, but see, this is assuming a woman is going to operate. Yeah, but see, they have never really.
The woman has certain characters. She either is good or she's not. I don't care how the man acts.
Yeah, well, but see, that's the thing, because see, in other groups, the society has certain barriers that to them that's just what they know. There's certain things that places women won't go because there's certain things that can kind of check that shit on its own, whether it's how the culture is, how the family is. Like I always tell people, when black women are dealing with when you're dealing with an African, or when you're dealing with Afro Caribbean, whatever, you're not just dealing with the men, you're dealing with the family. So when you're going up against like a Nigerian or whatever, you're going up against women that are on code with how the family is. So if you're operating outside of the code, like everybody has their fuckery, but there is acceptable levels of fuckery because everybody has a shared best interest. So if you got this woman, it doesn't matter if they're African American, they could be another Nigerian, they could be from the same tribe, and they're operating outside of the rules of what's normal when it comes to fuckery. The women are gonna shame the shit out of her. And they might ask why the fuck you with her, but they're not gonna be afraid to say, no, you're fucking wrong. There's no girl power, bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? In their own way.
It used to be to the point where our women would shame women for bad behavior. But
even white women would do it. They'll be like, white trash. You don't belong here. If you're dealing with like rich women, they're like, you're like, oh, well, he did this, he did that. Okay, well, this is the price of dealing with dudes at this level, like white men at this level. They're assholes. We get what the fuck we get. We fuck black dick every once in a while, and they don't kill us as long as we don't get caught. So we deal with their chauvinism. So I don't know what you don't understand about what the fuck it is. But you don't need to be here if you can't deal with it. And it's whatever issue you're dealing with. But only in America do black women have this like free agent shit where they're actually not only allowed but pushed to be like a free agent, just causing fucking chaos. And she doesn't even know it. And so it's not really being foolish. What happens is it's not really so much you being foolish. It's you were just trying to do like the honorable thing. But see, the thing is, you're not supposed to treat unhonorable things in an honorable way. I'm not saying you just throw people under the bus.
No. It's not throwing under the bus. But I think what you're trying to elaborate on is actually what You know, I've been actually doing a lot of research myself, you know, etc. Like I said, you know, I grew up here. So what it is, I think, I forgot who said that. It's role, they practice a lot of role reversal. Um, they practice a lot of role reversal, which is unnatural in so many ways. It's very unnatural because at the end of the day, men are going to be from Mars and women are going to be from Venus. Okay, there's not a way they can, but they go against that. And that's the way I see it. They kind of try to go against that. And the reason why she's doing that is because of her upbringing. Because really, when I met some of the men in their family, her uncle, he was quite docile. I mean, literally. Then the Thanksgiving um, dinner that we went to, you know, I mean, it's an honorable thing to put up all the food, but when you're holding purses and I mean, doing stuff that's unnecessary for,
We call
yeah.
those keep the peace niggas.
So, you know,
they just don't want them just cussing out or getting mad. And then
correct.
with shit like they try to keep the peace. That's how they logically justify it. But go ahead.
Correct. So, you know, he was that kind of guy. I mean, I thought it was a little bit problematic, but you know, I kind of left it on the wayside until I met her cousin's husband, and then kind of observed how her cousin treated the husband. And now the husband, this guy is Jamaican.
You looking for the referee, and you found you were in front of a whole bunch of keep the peace niggas.
And the way
that's all you looking for, the fairness. You're just looking for people that's gonna keep what the ball just strikes are. Go ahead.
And the way her cousin talks about the husband is just unbelievable to me. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me.
Like in Africa, you would get smacked
talks about this man like a dog, like literally a dog. So with all these things, now the person that she talks to the most on a day-to-day basis is her sister. Her sister does not date men. Her sister does not date men, and I don't even want to tell you. I mean, half of the time I'm overhearing them talking is about how they talk about men. It's just incredible.
Yo, man, I don't mean to cut you off. I gotta ask you one quick question.
Yeah.
You've been to Africa. I'm not asking you to blanket Nigeria. I'm asking you to just say what you've observed. Do these dudes really be believing that African American women are like Claire Huxtable? Have you ever? I'm not asking. Have you ever seen that? Like somebody like you know with the Cosby Show and shit. Like they make some of those assumptions. Do you ever observe that?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that again? If I ever observe, you said something about Blair Huxtable.
Like they think, Black African American women, like they can be like Claire Huxtable. Because I've actually heard, like with the situation I just told you about, like that's some shit I've heard more than a couple of times from more than dudes from different regions. Like they'll see the Cosby Show some shit, and they'll just see, or they hear that black men ain't shit from everybody but black men, right? And they assume, well, this woman just needs a man. This da. It's gonna do the right shit, and they'll act right.
Yes, some of them assume that, and I have to be honest. I kind of assumed that myself. That's why I went back a second and a third time. That all she needs is this. Okay, just show her, your real you. Do whatever she says. Try to make things right. I mean, it got to a head when I actually signed her for the therapy, and she refused to go and think that there's nothing wrong with her. Okay, so how could that bottle of liquor that's is like 1.75 milliliters that you can buy from Costco? Costco sells those huge bottles or whatever. So I don't know if you guys know any woman that can sit down within 3 days and finish one of those bottles. I think that's very problematic.
And it's sad. It's sad. I mean,
on the Xbox. Now, another thing that she did that where it came to a head that really disgusted me. I've never met a woman that ever done that in my life. Even some of these women that I know, they're not the cleanest, but I don't think they've never done anything like that in my life. We separated, we're still living together, but what she did one day was, when women on their period, when you get on their period, that's a whole different story. I'm not even going to get into that. But when they get on their period, they're supposed to do all their business and kind of, stay away from the man a little bit. You want to, at least a woman that respects herself wants to make sure she's all, try to keep clean and kind of
stay away from that a
little bit. So I walk into the kitchen.
Don't ask.
And I'm seeing, trash bags. I see a trash bag on the counter because I think it was like a few days because I work from home, and that's that's a whole different story. But I work remotely, and so I look on the counter, and what is your period? I'm thinking that I thought it was like stuff. I thought she cooked and made some meat or something. Until I realized what it was. It's like, okay, why is that doing in a bag on top of the counter in the kitchen? I almost lost my mind. I walked outside. I was hyperventilating. I was like, you know what? I mean, that's it. That's it. And do you know what the answer was? Oh, I was kind of absent-minded. I did not know. This is the same period that you've had for 37 years. Oh, well, I shouldn't say 37 years. Women start having their period, 14, 15. But anyway.
Oh, she was that age at the time? So a lot of this fuckery, you're talking about like 30. We're not even talking about
she is 37 when this is occurring. She is 36, 37 when this is occurring. I'm not talking about, years ago. Like, these events happened just a few months
ago. Now, for the class, for anybody that wants to say, well, y'all acting like, men ain't shit either. Well, my thing is, why are you fucking? That's the answer to that question as far as a female. Because if you giving him pussy, remember that. So if you say, well, niggas ain't shit either, and then you fucking them, you kind of validating his ain't shit. I just want to say that for people that listen and try to have those fucking thoughts.
So it's kind of like, am I the bad guy here for ending the engagement? I don't think I'm the bad guy for ending this engagement.
Like, black women get engagements ended all the fucking time. Like, here's the thing, man. When it comes to that engagement shit, somebody needs to do a video on that shit on its own. Engagements don't. In the black community, being engaged does not count unless you got married. Because the reality is, there's so many chicks that, number one, they lie about being engaged. And number two, dudes will just tell them some bullshit in order to, just to satiate them for a minute. If it's a situation, engagements are not real most of the time in the black community. A lot, like for instance, a lot of these chicks will talk about, I ain't never been married, or you a single mother. And I've actually heard men say this, not just women. Well, you don't know how many of them black men engaged to them. I said, so the bitch decided to have, I hate to say it that way, but I'm just saying, they decided to have a baby because they were engaged. Mm-hmm. Like, see, that's bullshit. That's single motherhood logic. Because keep in mind, again, these are women that have the right to abort. We're not talking about women in countries that they can't abort. So at least you could understand that, you could be trapped, right? These women, and I'm not saying black women should abort kids. What I'm saying is these were choices that were made. And it's just interesting because you're not the first African dude. Like on Fantastic, another dude, he's a lot younger than you. He was he said he was from West Africa, but he was like, I think 19, 20 years old. And he said, I tried to date black women and so, but he African American women. So he's not on this I will white only. He just said he tried to date them and it just don't work.
I love my whole thing is, like I said, it's difficult for me to, like, I'm sorry, it might sound a little bit, I'm not racist in any way, but I prefer to either, date a black woman or date an African woman. I mean, that's just my preference.
No, you prefer to keep it with. I mean, you got African. I mean, for you, it could be considered intertribal shit. I mean, shit. The way Nigerians can be, they be like, "Are you fucking serious? I'm Igbo. I'm dating fucking Europe. Shit, that's as far as I'm fucking going. God damn it. We don't think about the tribal stuff here, but that's
I'm not that kind of. I'm not a separatist. I'm not like the Igbos.
The Igbos be the main one with the Kata bullshit. See, a lot of people don't think we know that.
And I'm glad that you said that because I do have family members that have that same sentiment. And it's sad. And I told them it's sad. I stay away from a lot of the African elders, actually. I stay away from those guys because their worldview is very narrow. And I don't think they'll ever grow from it. Because look at the country. Okay, so they're widely religious, right? Most of the Nigerians are widely religious. So,
Islam, right?
And that's one reason I'm not religious, because, and another reason I tell them that is because I've read all three books. I read the Bible, I read the English Quran, and I've read the Torah. Okay, and the most violent religion to me is Christianity. And looking at Christianity, if you guys are widely religious at the country, why can't you fix the country? Because, and then here's another thing. Okay, not even that. Okay, if cleanliness is closer to godliness, what's up with all the dirt? You know, so some of these basic things.
Well, you got to realize with everybody, and I'm not about to push back on anything you said. I'm about to just add on to it. No matter what religion it is, and I think it's just Islam is like on the video with the propaganda. That's why it gets looked at as look bad. But what you said with Christianity is absolutely true. But the thing about that is this is to give a reason why that is. This is not an excuse. White people terraform Christianity to be more of a white culture thing. It's more about white culture than it is about actual fucking religion. And I'm not gonna say that's true for everybody, but that's true for the overarching codes that whiteness is. And we're talking about Western Europeans, by the way, when I say that. And that's why it's like that. That's why it has a lot more hypocrisy with it. Because I'm pro-American, but at the same time, I understand that, I can take myself out and look at this stuff from an imperial standpoint. Most Americans have never even used the phrase American Empire. They can't even think in that way. They can't even put themselves on that side to even think in that way, even though they see movies that, can easily show it. Like Star Wars, for example. And I'm not saying America's like Star Wars, but like, if you look at how an empire acts, what an empire has to do in the day-to-day to maintain itself.
Oh, yeah.
Most Americans can't even think in that way. They just don't, because they never have. So.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't even have to say anything. Just look at the amount of how many bases that we have. They do not understand that some of these bases are not just there because they're there. They're very strategic. They have these bases there, and it's very strategic. And also, as far as them saying, oh, well, why can all these other countries compete? It's two reasons: nuclear weapons and the IMF. That's why most countries cannot compete.
Well, Africans always love to talk about that. I mean, look, I'm not gonna go in on that. I mean, I do understand certain things, like, for instance, some of my best friends are like French Canadians. And I can kind of say that because French people don't really fuck with French Canadians anyway. But France, so technically I can separate that. But France, what they do to the Francophone countries is actually the most, in my opinion, the most egregious, at least at this point, is the most egregious of any of like what white folks are doing in the Western world right now. As far as direct. Now, you could argue scale with America, and I wouldn't argue with that too much. But as far as like that direct connection, that's more of the obvious. And when you look at how much they actually depend on that, like their shit is collapsing now, and it's still intact. If it ever not was intact anymore, this is why I always tell people, when people like caping for like white folks in general, I'm like, these people are only as conservative as you see it, is because they have to, like, they don't want to share resources with you. But the reality is they get real socialist when it's just them. You look at any white country, and the more whiter it is, the more socialistic it is.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And that's what you said about France. I think France plays more of a role in subjugating countries as far as way back, let's say, in the early 18th.
They're more obvious and overt about it. Like, I'm not saying other countries don't do it, but they're more like overt. The IMF is more of a systematic kind of thing.
Yeah, the French, they're more overt. As far as the French, I know they subjugated, Nigeria into, quite a bit of Nigeria, Cameroon. As far as these African countries are just now switching away from the French currency or using French names on their currency, etc. So it's so sad. So I know I skipped over a lot of the story as far as my experience, but just to summarize it, is basically, I moved from Arizona to Texas 3 times back and forth. She did not have to move one time. And then on top of that, you're giving this person your money, bought an engagement ring for 5 years. I mean, it was incredible to me. I'm looking at myself like, have you had enough? It's one of those situations. You had enough. Do you agree now? So, and even when you try to tell her, if the person that you talk to on a day-to-day basis, okay, they don't like men, okay, they don't have good things to say about men, your cousin that you talk to, which is the closest to you here in Arizona, okay, the way she addresses her husband is very negative. Okay, her husband is steady carrying the purse and just bowing his head. Okay, don't you think subconsciously that's going to affect you in a way? And she's an introvert, by the way. She doesn't. So many times I've told her, you need to go get some other friends. other than your sister, or you might end up marrying. At least I used to tell her this when I get upset with her. You're gonna end up marrying your sister. So so I just want to kind of end it with that. I gotta get back to work. I want to leave y'all with that, but that's just a piece of my experience with the whole marriage game between the black men and black women.
Well, thanks for coming by and sharing your story, man. I really appreciate it. Shoot, you're always welcome to come back anytime.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Akachi Gamers. Hey, one more question. Are you PlayStation or Xbox?
Oh, I do mainly PlayStation.
All right. Right answer.
Well, I did do Xbox because of her. I ended up getting big waste of money, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, I mainly do PlayStation. But yeah, so I'm gonna get off, man. I gotta get back to work. I'm probably you sent me your email, so I'll probably hit y'all up. Maybe any other subjects. If you have any kind of questions for me, you can
cool.
So I'll email you. Once I'm done, I'll probably be done in like 2 hours. I'll send you an email with my information. So if there's any kind of subjects you're interested in, you want to know more of, because here, I mean, I knew a lot. Actually, I still know my language. Actually, people think it's kind of weird. So I know quite a bit about the culture. So anybody have any kind of questions, anything you want me to find out or need to ask me, just let me know. And I'll email you in 2 hours, but I got to run. All right.
Man,
once again, I appreciate you for stopping by, brother.
No doubt.
Roger.
Thank you.
I appreciate him coming, but I don't appreciate this PlayStation stuff instead of Xbox. I don't appreciate none of that.
Okay. Hey, you know what? We can get into that too, but I can explain why. I can explain my whys and reasons why. And then later,
but do me a favor, Akachi Gamers. Why don't you subscribe to our entertainment channel, the Black Dimension, because we do cover topics on that too. We have.
Say no
more.
Yeah,
we have this channel, but then we have our entertainment channel as well because we like to do fun stuff too.
Oh, say no more. Yeah, send me an email on that, because like literally I have to run. I'm like 30 minutes.
Okay, just contact me by email and I'll just give you all the information then. So once again, bro.
Yeah. Look out for the email in 2 hours. Promise, man. I really get it.
Okay. All right.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Go.
Take it easy. Thank you.
All right, yeah, this turned out to be a good show. He gave his testimonial. No, man, and that's the thing. You don't hear. The thing about it is, we're the first ones to speak up, but it's these stories we've heard. I thought the stuff is out there. People want to act like they don't know what the fuck we're talking about and whatever. It is what it is, But that's why people are just silently like sliding the fuck out, and then they like, well, why are you doing this? And they want to act like a victim, and motherfuckers ain't hearing that shit. Like 2020. I mean. Yeah, so anyway.
But I'm about to go ahead and wrap this broadcast up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Sunday I'm actually gonna deal with the fact that I'm just saying on my Sunday show I'm actually gonna deal with the fact that you have the different things like the MGTOW or the IPMOR or the SYSBM where people are kind of sliding in a different direction, and I think there's an understanding that needs to be made to certain women out there. And, I'm having a hard time buying that so many men just have an issue getting sex I think it's just well beyond a sex thing that it seems like women throw that up to kind of hide behind. So I think it's going to actually turn out to be very good for the Black community as a whole. I really do think it is, even though me personally, I do not promote dating outside the race, but I still think it's going to turn out to be a benefit in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was it for me. That was it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this actually turned out to be a better show than I expected. Actually, yeah. I only came on. I only intended to come on for a few minutes, but we got some pretty interesting insight. So that really right there is what I look for every time that I come on the air. And we got a pretty good viewership this time too. And I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this time. And for those of you that are joining us, when this show completely uploads, you can go back and watch the replay.
And I have to say, I didn't mind coming on here, and I appreciate you allowing me to come on. The best YouTuber, the absolute best YouTuber came and joined your show. So yeah, I heard your last channel. I heard that, brother. I heard that. I'm just saying, but yeah. Even though you was talking crazy at the end of that one, I say, hey, I'm gonna still join the show. But it's all good. It's all good, brother. And for those at the loop, you're gonna have to watch the other show to see what we're talking about. But it's all good, player.
Yeah. Let me also brief you on the habitual line steppers real quick. There's myself, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. There's Roger of the Roger Report, Roger Stevens. Join him for some very insightful commentary and pretty good shows. And yeah, he does, despite the fact that he just put out that fallacy, he does run a pretty good operation on his channel. So yeah, definitely check out the Roger Report, if anything, because he's a habitual line stepper. And also our boy Donnie, who runs the channel You Ain't Shit for Watching. Yes, we are a trifecta. And if you and collect all the channels, and also to our little brother channel, the Black Dimension, our entertainment channel that we just started some weeks back. Also subscribe to as well, because we like to do entertainment stuff. I mean, everybody loves to be entertained. And that's exactly why we're doing that channel as well. We're doing our channels, and then we're doing the Black Dimension, because we want to bring you the absolute best content on YouTube.
Hey, you know what, Kev? I'm gonna pop off real quick, and I'm gonna say what's up to everybody in the chat. So anyone who wants to go ahead and click that and subscribe to the channel, it'll be easy for you to do so. But yeah, it's a good channel. You'll definitely like it. And I'm gonna holler at you later, Kev. I'll see you on the other side.
All right, Roger. Thanks for stopping by, brother. As always. And as always, I ask you at the beginning and the end of each one of these broadcasts to please like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and we will continue to bring you such great content. Thanks for everyone who participated in the chat. Again, let me thank Roger Stevens of the Roger Report. Let me thank Edward Anderson for coming by and offering his insight, and also Akachi Gamers. Thank you for coming by as well. And this is it for now. I will definitely get back with you guys really, really soon. So this is what I have to say. In Kev, we trust. Goodbye for now. Like, share, subscribe. The Habitual Line Steppers. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers.